narcissist and make the narcissist the bad guy and change the narcissist. That's just like the same thing the medical system does. Go after the symptom, not after the cause, not after the actual problem. The fucking enablers. Just take your pill, make everything alright, make the other guy change, then you don't have to do nothing. People can't change the narcissist, so they just shun the narcissist. Exclude all the narcissists from your life. We'll just put them over there on an island of narcissists. When really, we're already on the island with the narcissists ourselves, because we actually are like the narcissist, because we're doing the same damn thing the narcissists do, because we are a vibrational match to the narcissist. Narcissistic supply, everyone wants it. Everyone wants supply, everyone wants attention. So I was listening to a video just before this, doing this video, the lady says, I didn't listen to the full thing, but she was talking about, like, what is it? Like gray rocking, or, no, not gray rocking, when you totally cut off the narcissist and no longer talk to them, period, at all. Because why do you have to even do that, right? Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to cut off the narcissist and never have any contact with them again? Because you're weak and you keep falling for their crap. So you doing that, it really isn't even about them. It's about you. It's not their bad, it's yours. There's nothing bad with it. Like, do it. It's really important. Like, I have people that I'm not gonna get confused by that person ever again. And I already know that I'm weak and susceptible to it, so I just don't they're not allowed to communicate with me, period. Well, not that I'm weak and susceptible to it, but there's a variety of things that unfold when I see a person that I know is evil and doing really horrible evil people shit, but they sit there and pretend like they're good. Then what I want to do is call them out on it, right? And waste my energy on calling them out. So, like, you're just not allowed to talk to me, right? I don't want to hear super fake nice person stuff when I know all the evil shit you do, right? So that would apply to a narcissist that I've cut off. I don't want to have nothing to do with that shit no more. And the problem with these people is they're very persistent and pushy, and when you're really good supply, right? We all have our supply, and we're their supply. They are ours. Then they don't want to let us go. So then they're like a nightmare of not respecting our wishes of don't fucking touch me, shit like that. So because they don't know how to respect the wishes and they want to end up in jail for touching you, and you don't want to be, be the source of the reason why they end up there. You stay away from them. Or you don't want to end up in jail yourself for kicking in the balls or the vagina when they're touching you after you told them don't motherfucking touch me, right? So it's just wise to do that, but that does apply to everybody as well. Like, you don't have to be a narcissist to be actually applies to a lot of people and to everybody. And it's a good idea to, do just based on, it's a great way to set your boundaries, to maintain clarity, to make sure you stick to stuff that you decided you don't want to be stuff anymore. So, really the narcissist or whatever this whole thing is really all tips and steps and things to us becoming more mature adult human beings that don't do things irresponsibly and childlike, right? So that's the epiphany that came to me. I thought it was interesting to mention. You can look at the videos now and see where they apply. In many areas, it actually applies to like everyone and everything. Throwing the narcissist under the bus, making the narcissist the bad guy. Like that's the big old thing that I'm hearing repeatedly over and over. And none of us love evil people that lie and cheat and lie, cheat in order for them to steal. I have people in my life right now currently doing that very identical thing and using the most precious things to me in order to do that. So, I could be a victim about it, and I could whine and cry, and I do for minutes here and there. I ain't gonna lie. That's my little child Leonidas is so funny. It says that I ain't gonna lie. But the contrasting experiences that we're experiencing on this planet is for a good reason, to help us grow into the mature adult beings that we should be and are working on being. I am not a mature adult. That's a fact. And I ain't even trying to pretend like I am. But, I'm working on it. My boyfriend, man person, he's way more mature than me in many areas. And it's evident. Here is we're learning to be mature adults, to handle situations of all varieties in calm and peace and tranquility. The ultimate goal is for us to be in the middle of a war situation and be able to keep our calm and our peace and tranquility, because fighting fire with fire just makes bigger fire, and we accomplish very little with a lot more effort when we're, flipping out and worrying and all this nonsense, which is really because we're babies and we don't see the greater picture, and we're falling for an inferior way of doing things. So going after the symptom, blaming the narcissist, isn't really the solution. That's just, how many narcissists there are on the planet? Yeah, you're going to shun and reject all of them. You're going to be constantly in this battle against the narcissist. Good freaking luck. Like, that's going to be exhausting. So we're going to be better served to learn how to work these people. Literally learn how to do what they do, but for the side of good, for the benefit of good. So I'm not suggesting that anyone's going to be lying, cheating, and whatever, but a lot of their techniques of keeping the emotion out of it, I want to yawn again, are actually really smart. Does that mean you have no emotion? No. It just means that you're very discerning of where you put it. You don't just give that shit away, you know? And you find ways to talk yourself into less emotion on the areas where it's not worth placing it. The cause of our distress and demise and problems is us. We have met the enemy and they is us. I don't know where all that comes from, but it comes from someone other than me. I didn't make it up, copied it. Stole it. That's in quotes. I didn't steal it. Give the credit to whomever said that. And I don't know who that is, so sorry. So, the point of my channel and my what is it? Rant here or whatever. Is to teach people how to look in the mirror and empower themselves to learning how to live with these people without getting all emotionally all riled up, which is actually how we should be with everyone regardless of whether they're a narcissist or not. Like, I have to deal with so many people that have like these emotional outbursts and mental shit, and it's just like, snore, get the fuck out of here. But you know, like, there's a whole shitload of them. They're like everywhere. They're my mommy, my kids, my freaking neighbor, my flippin' other neighbor, my roommates. Every goddamn person. Ex-boyfriends. You can't be my boyfriend doing that shit to me. Not like that. Etc. So we gotta learn how to live among these people. You know, it's not like the olden days where you can throw them off a cliff. That's what wild people would do. They just be like, you're causing problems, fuck out of here. Nah, our dipshit asses keep them around, right? And fall in love with them, make their babies and all this shit. So we have to literally learn to work with them and just go with the flow and let them do their stupid brain damage crap. And, you know, just chill. Like, chill a lot more. Because they end up burying themselves in the end anyways, for the ones that, you know, well, for all their asses. And if one of them gets lucky enough to find someone like us that is willing to learn how to work with them so that we don't, like, abandon them, and then maybe, hopefully, in the process they heal, I don't know, because, like, I've not dealt with this situation long enough to see if there's a healing at the end. But I do know that it makes dealing with them a heck of a lot more pleasant and easier and even funner and even funny sometimes. And it's still, you know, something we have to always practice, to keeping our emotions and our vibration on point. And if what they say is true, that we are vibrational beings, then that's the work that we're up to here. And the way to win the war between good and evil, if that's such a thing, is to survive in the end, right? The survivors in the end are the ones that are going to be the winners. And the way that the bad guys are taking out the good guys is emotionally exhausting them, primarily. So then you're all depressed, and then you pig out, and then you're all fat, and then you're all fucked up, or, you know, whatever, on pills, on drugs, and now you're, like, losing the game. You're losing the goddamn game. And they're winning. So that's not what we want. Well, we want to win. I decided I'm on the side of good. So we want to win. Us good guys want to win. And we want to turn as many bad guys into good as possible, or at least, like, neutralize them, right? But at minimum, not let them take us out. Like, come on, we don't want to take us out. So the intention I have with this, what I'm doing here, is to teach how to deal with these people of all varieties. It's not just narcissists, all sorts of their asses. And they've labeled them all sorts of shit. It's so hilarious because it's really all just a variation of the same damn thing. But if we can deal with them in ease, peace, and tranquility, you know, we can keep them in our lives to one degree or another, whatever we choose. Without them injuring us and in. Oh, duty, you gotta get over. Driving, obviously. We don't get injured, so that means we're more available to take care of them, because they're dipshits, right? Like hurting themselves, and they need to be taken care of like babies. And we love them, so we're gonna do it, but we gotta keep ourselves on point so that we have something to give to them. And so that's the primary, we don't want to be dragging along, like hating our lives in order to have these people in our lives, because we care about them as fellow human beings, etc. We want to drive through it while still having them there. So, like, there is ways to do it. A lot of their power lies in psychological, technically not really physically real stuff. It's just all a mind fuck, right? They're just messing with our heads. So if we can learn to not allow our heads to be messed with, then we just mastered this shit. And there's so many layers of where we're getting our heads messed with. The government systems, the medical systems, the food systems, like everyone's fucking with our heads. And they get us to do all this terrible stuff that ends up with us being all deteriorated and pathetic losers, just because they fucked with our heads and scared us into it, or all variety of ways to convince us that X, Y, and Z is perfectly healthy, which, I mean, a lot of it's so obvious that it's just like, I can't believe you're getting convinced of that shit. But it's all variation of the same thing. So we're all getting messed with on all these different levels and areas of humanity, all using the same techniques of messing with our heads, and we don't want to let them have that power over us. So we're going to take it back by learning to calm all of our tits. We've all got nipples. Calm the hell down, everybody. Stop being so gullible and easily convinced of bullshit. Stop taking everything so goddamn serious. And stop pointing the finger at the other guy. It ain't the other guy, it's us. It is us that's letting ourselves get messed with. And it is us that is responsible to knock it the fuck off. Period. The end. Please and thank you. I can't see anything. I'm blinded by the light.